Hello, my love. I am so excited to talk about the space of it's never going to happen for me because I've been in this space a lot in my life and how to truly claim your desires in a way that feels good. This episode is really for you if you're like, I know that I struggle. I keep things secret. I secretly hope that these things are going to happen. I'm telling myself, I'm saying that I want a relationship, but then inside I'm saying it's never going to happen. Like it's not going to happen. Like if you're in that space with whatever it is, like job, promotion, whatever it is in your life, if you're in that space, my love, this episode is for you. So let's dive in. So when I first got into self-development, I read all the books and I was reading about law of attraction and listening to podcasts and all of those things. And for me, there was just something that was missing. There was something that was missing. I was like trying to do these processes where I was writing down the manifestations. I was trying to feel into what it would feel like if I had the thing, all of the stuff that is within this teaching and what they tell you to do. And still, I would find myself in this place where it was like I was in this black hole, this loop of like, you can say that, but it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And I could feel that in my body and in myself and in my consciousness. And of course, when that is the predominant driving force, then it's really hard to bring any kind of manifestation into reality because that subconsciously and a little bit for me consciously, once I got there, is really what is driving things. So I'm going to talk about why you're not crazy if you find it hard to claim your desires, to believe things are going to happen for you, to really step into what it is you desire and what you want your life to be. Now, before I go into all of this, I just want to remind us all of something that's really, really important. Your fulfillment and your safety and your, what is the word? Like your joy, your happiness is not dependent on external things. There's two games in life. One is the outside in game. When I get the house, when I get the car, when I get the relationship, when I get the dream marriage, whatever the thing is that you're winning about, you're putting your safety, your joy, your happiness on that thing. So I can't be happy until I have that, right? That's the outside in game. And the other game is the inside out game. Oh, I want to feel abundant. I'm abundant right now. I'm joyful right now. I have connection right now. I'm loved right now. And when you can come back and, we flip between these all the time. And I find myself in the outside in game all the time. And I'm like, okay, let's come back to what is actually true. When we can really come back to our safety and our like life force being here and not dependent on an external source, it is transformational. And I really experienced this when I moved to Lisbon because I put so much on Lisbon. I put so much on it. Like when I get to Lisbon, my life is going to be so good and I'm going to be just, everything's going to fall into place. And it didn't feel like that. I moved last year. It was hard. It was an adjustment. I had to really integrate myself into a whole new city in winter where there was no one really that I knew that well. And my patterns showed up. The things I do show up, right? Because wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. So until we actually heal what's underneath, the actual outside thing doesn't actually matter. So I just want to put that on the table first. I can talk more deeply into that. And I do in some of the courses that I do. I really want you to let that land. Okay. So first of all, you're whole and complete right now. You may not feel that way. And I get it, my love, because I have been there. I really have been there. And that's where doing this inner work is the juice, is the thing that is going to take you into that state. But I also want to talk about claiming your desires because it is so important. And there's so many reasons why we don't, why we're not brave enough to say out loud, this is going to happen for me. I desire this. I don't really like the word want. I try not to use it as much as I can. I desire this. Okay, so one of the reasons, biggest one, that you don't let yourself claim with what you desire is that you don't know what it is. You don't know because nobody ever asked you, right? So you actually don't spend the time really thinking about what is important for you. Now, if this does not apply to you, good. If you're already really clear, don't worry. There's stuff coming up that I really want you to sink into and be in. But so often we don't act from desire. We don't make decisions from love and joy and pleasure. We make decisions from fear. We make decisions from, well, I better do this because if I don't do this, then this might play out. I see this all the time with people who are in my DMs and they have a job, they have a career that they want to leave. But that voice is so strong and so pervasive. And so the first step of claiming what you desire is to let yourself dream. Now, if you have any childhood wounding around not being fully expressed and not being really encouraged to dream and really believe that things could happen for you, if you saw your parents model to you, hey, we're like this, we fit in this box in society, and therefore it is unsafe for us to want X thing or desire X thing, then you will have inherited some of that. And for that reason, really thinking about what you desire actually might feel like it brings up a lot of contraction because your body is like, oh no, that's not where we are. Okay. And you can still do it. So the beautiful thing about our bodies and our nervous systems is that we can program them to hold the life that we want. So you can take a deep breath. You can say to yourself, it is safe to dream. And if that doesn't feel true, you do a little more work, you unpack it. This is stuff I go deep on in the work because it is so important. But I'm going to leave that there. Anyway, first thing is, what is it that you want? Do you know? And do you know why you want it? Like, get really clear about that. These are my desires, and these are the motivations behind them. Now, sometimes our desires we've outgrown them. So an example of this for me is that I really desired to become a novelist. That was the thing that I was going to do. And I wrote 2 novels and I got lots of bits published, shortlisted for things, but it never really truly happened. And then at some point, I just didn't desire it anymore. In fact, I wasn't really writing anymore because I suddenly had this business and it was like, oh, this is the new dream. So I really want you to let yourself evolve and let your desires evolve. Okay? You're a human being, you're not a robot. Just because you said you wanted something 3 years ago does not mean you still need to have that on your vision. You get to decide at any moment that you can change. Okay? So really think about your desires. Think about what is true for you. Make a mind map. Let yourself dream. Go bigger, right? And breathe. And let your body be in contraction. It doesn't mean anything. Our body, our nervous system is going to take anything it has not yet experienced as threat. But that does not mean that we need to read that biological response as, okay, now I'm going to shut down. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. Okay. So first step, what do you actually desire? And why? That's super clear. Also, permission. I've given myself permission to let this evolve. Okay. I remember somebody saying to me, oh, you'll be a teacher forever. When I went into teaching, I had another career before that. Like, this will be it for you. And I was like, maybe. Same with coaching. Maybe. I don't know. Because I'm really committed to growth. And I'm committed to following my knowing and my intuition. Now, if you've had a long time in your life where you haven't been in that space, please treat yourself with compassion and with love, because it doesn't mean anything about you. Okay? It doesn't mean anything about you. Which brings me on to my first big point. So that's all context. You're welcome. One of the biggest things that's in the way of you claiming your desires is what you're making it mean about you. Oh, but if I want my business to get bigger, if I want to earn more money, then people are going to think I'm selfish. People are going to think I'm up myself. People are going to think whatever, 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 right? When you truly start to tap into desire from pleasure, desire from joy, so many stories come up around selfishness. And really, what that does is it activates like this tribal thing of I'm not going to be in the pack. We need each other. And biologically, we needed each other, right? Before, we couldn't be in our little individual houses with our individual heating and our individual whatever. We needed to be in tribes. And so our bodies are programmed for that. So the threat of being rejected, the threat of being abandoned is actually pretty big in our system. So the beautiful thing about this is just to be like, okay, what am I making these desires mean about me? And can I choose again? So if I'm making the desire that I want to leave my job and go after this passion of building this business, if I'm making that mean that I'm reckless, can I really look at that and choose again? Can I choose again? Okay, so you've got to look at what you're making it mean about you. Added to this, my love, is that as women, and if you're a man, you're very welcome here too, just mostly I coach women. As a woman, we also have the stay small conditioning. We're literally conditioned and have been for generations to shut down our voices and make our bodies smaller. Okay, so really think about that. Oh, I've been conditioned into staying small. Now my vision is big. Of course, this is going to feel uncomfortable. And of course, these stories are going to be coming up. Still, can I be a yes to my yes? Still, can I lean in when there's contraction and fear? Because what am I choosing to make a decision from? What am I choosing to make a decision from? When we can bring in, 90, you'll hear me say this probably every episode, 96% of our behavior is subconscious. Okay? So that means that there is all of this in our subconscious that is happening, that is dictating our behavior. That is the reason that we don't move forward when we could. That is the reason that we go for the house that we don't really want because we've told ourselves a story about whatever, right? It all happens in the subconscious. But when we can bring the subconscious into the conscious, then we get to work with it. Then we get to be like, oh, here's my conditioning. Here's what I'm making it mean about me. Okay? And then you can choose again. I'm not saying that process is easy, but it is a process you can choose. Beautiful, right? Okay, second reason that people don't claim their desires. And oof, this is a big one. Underneath it all, you're believing you're something about yourself that is in opposition to your desire. So what I mean by this is say that you deeply desire partnership, but a part of you is associating with a very deep belief and has been for a very long time that you're broken, that you don't deserve good things, that you're not good enough, that there's something wrong with you. If any of those beliefs have charge, then we know they're true. Then you operate from that belief. Now, if you believe that you're not worthy, are you going to really put yourself out there to live the best life possible? Are you going to go out with, again, the energy of joy, the energy of pleasure, the energy of desire? No, you're not. Because again, subconsciously, you're sabotaging yourself. So this is why it can be so hard to claim our desires, because it's like, oh, I feel this pull towards this thing, this life, this change, but I don't think I can show up to it. I don't believe in myself enough. It can be a really bitter pill to swallow. It can be something that you really got to sit with. Because again, then we get to have change. Then we get to start working on this. Then we get to start going in the direction of, okay, the first step is to heal this belief within myself. And then I can really claim this, but not from a place of, I need to get X to prove X. I need to get the best job ever to prove to the bullies in high school that I'm actually worthy. I need to have the most beautiful house to show my parents that I'm safe. No, it has to be for you. And this is the most countercultural thing. You get to want what you want, desire what you desire, because your soul is a yes. As simple as that. As simple as that. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to know what's dropping in for you. And I would love to know, what is a desire that you have been afraid to claim? Sometimes we have claimed it and then it hasn't shown up, right? So I had this with falling in love and being in deep partnership. Like, this is what I want. Been calling it in for quite some time. And there were so many periods where I just went into contraction, and I went back to the story of this will never happen for me. But what was connected to that story is the belief, my very, very deepest wound, there is something wrong with me. So when I stop believing there is something wrong with me, then why would it not happen for me? Why not me? So when we're operating from a belief, it really can sabotage our ability to be present in our lives to the things that we truly, truly desire. Okay? There's one more piece of this that I want to let land. I have no idea how long this podcast is. You're welcome. And I suggest you come back and listen to it again, because I'm giving you some truth bombs and some absolute gold that I have received. Final piece. When you claim what you desire, you have to show up. So if you claim that you are in desiring a relationship, got to start going on dates. And that's a pretty broad generalization. Everyone's process is unique, right? And it is nuanced. But if the way that you've been doing it so far hasn't been working, then something's got to shift. If you want to run $1 million business, you got to show up to that every day, because that's not going to build itself on its own. And in order to show up to that, you got to shed your old identity. And this is where it gets really deep. This is where it goes to the next level of self-development. You got to shed your old identity. You got to shed the part of you that wants other people to feel sorry for you, that wants a sympathy, that wants to get love, that wants to grasp at things. And you got to become your next level self. That can be terrifying. And it requires a lot of self-trust. So these are the pillars of what claiming your desires really, really needs. First of all, you got to be clear on what you desire and that you're already good. You're already good. Then you want to get super clear on any limiting beliefs that are in your way, either about what you think other people are going to think of you or what you're believing about yourself. And then the third piece is, you got to go to your identity. That's where things can really, really shift. You know, my identity for a long time is, I'm different, people need to feel sorry for me. Is that the identity that's going to carry me into my dream future? No. So when I'm in a pattern where I see myself in it, I have to keep bringing myself out, and I have to celebrate myself every single time I do. Every single time. So when I show my subconscious, it's safe. So I hope that this has given you some inspiration. I hope that particularly if you've been up in a place where you've really been doubting that the things you want can come to fruition, where you're confused, you're unsure, you're uncertain, that it gives you a little bit of a roadmap, the things to really think about, so that you can create the life you dream of. Because we are here once, and there is no reason why you cannot create exactly what is on your heart. I'm sending you so much love. And if you made it to the end of this, look at how committed you are to what you desire.